Tonight on CTV News, pushing for urgent action.
What we're seeing in Surrey is it's a terror attack in slow motion.
Calls to tighten immigration laws so foreign extortion suspects can't claim refugee status.
I never thought that I would be put in this kind of situation and be shown this much love, and support.
Coping with crisis, how the town of Merritt is supporting the 6 children of Pamela Jarvis, murdered allegedly by her husband.
There's an old-fashioned word for that, and that word is treason. It is completely inappropriate.
On the attack against Alberta separatist, Premier David Eby's tough talk makes waves at the First Minister's meeting. And a hitman in the Wall Centre murder is now accused of trying to break out of jail.
This is CTV News with me, Jung Lee.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Calls for immediate action in Surrey are intensifying as the number of extortion crimes grows. Business leaders are meeting tonight, hoping their voices will spark further action from all levels of government. CTV's Craig Krause is live in Surrey. And Craig, multiple politicians address the situation today. What have we learned?
They did, and Mi Jung, there is a sense of urgency as this community has been hit with more extortions this month than there have been days. And today, the tone shifted for some of these leaders.
What we're seeing in Surrey is it's a terror attack in slow motion.
BC's premier not holding back Thursday as Surrey has quickly turned into a hotbed for extortion crime.
You would never dream of giving refugee status to someone who participated in a terror attack, but that's exactly what's happening.
Eby calls the ability of extortion suspects to seek refugee status a loophole that has to be closed, calling on Ottawa to pass Bill C-12 and reform immigration.
Despite what you may hear, claiming asylum is not a long-term viable option if you have committed a crime here in Canada.
Surrey police issuing a warning Thursday as federal data shows last month 15 foreigners facing extortion charges had applied for refugee status in Canada. Are you scared?
Of course I'm scared. Being a human being, I'm scared.
The 36 extortion reports this month has left the South Asian business community living in constant fear. Are they paying when these criminals are asking for money?
Yes, some of.
Potentially making the situation worse. CORE and the police are urging locals to report the crime and allow law enforcement to investigate. Unity to stop it.
If we cannot stop it right now, it's going to be everywhere.
Surrey's mayor is calling for a national state of emergency and a special commissioner to combat the crime wave.
It is a city under siege right now.
She says the federal government is now deploying 20 additional RCMP officers along with air support to help in the battle. But her rival in October's municipal election, Linda Annis, is calling for 300 additional police officers over the next 5 years, plus a training facility, all while adding surveillance powers.
We want all of the cameras, the traffic cameras right now, given immediate real-time access to our police service. We also want an additional 600 cameras installed for police use only in the city of Surrey.
And Annis is also asking for road checks that blanket high-risk areas across the community, especially overnight. And that meeting that's taking place behind me right now with these community leaders, they are also planning a protest and a rally on Monday from noon to 2. That will be on the corner of 88th Avenue in King George. They are hoping that their voices will be heard to make real action here in the community of Surrey. Mija?
Craig Krause reporting live tonight from Surrey. Now to the latest on the trial of 3 men accused in the horrific murders of 2 Abbotsford seniors. Today, a police officer testified how one of the accused murderers was linked to the crime scene through his recent arrival to Canada. CTV's Ben Nesbitt has more and a warning you may find some of the details disturbing.
2 weeks into the trial, courtroom 404 remains packed daily as friends and family members of Arnold and Joanne DeYoung intently watch the proceedings against the couple's accused killers. The DeYoungs, who were grandparents in their 70s, were viciously killed in their home May 9th, 2022. The prosecution has said the elderly couple's hands and feet had been tied with a rope, and Arnold DeYoung's entire head and face was tightly wrapped in duct tape. 3 Surrey men, Gurkaran Singh, Abjit Singh, and Kushveer Tour, are each charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Crown says Gurkaran Singh was in Canada on a student visa, arriving less than a month before the killings. And according to Abbotsford Police Constable Kiranpreet Shahal, an expert in the detection and examination of fingerprints, that played a role in getting a match on his prints at the home. Shahal says he submitted several prints from the scene to the RCMP's national database and got a hit for a potential match from Singh's immigration file. He then conducted his own examination and determined it was a match in his opinion, saying he believes that Singh was attempting to push open the sliding patio door from the outside. Crown claims all 3 were all motivated by debt, financial pressure, and greed, and that a cleaning company run by Abjit Singh had done work at the DeYoungs' home roughly a month before the murder. Constable Shahal, who's also an expert in the analysis and collection of footwear impressions, is expected to be back on the stand Friday. Ben Nesbitt, CTV News, Abbotsford.
Their mother is dead, their father charged with second-degree murder. And now the 6 children left behind by the killing of Merritt's Pamela Jarvis have the community pulling together to help them. CTV's Michelle Bernaro has an exclusive interview with Jarvis's oldest daughter about the outpouring of support and the long road to healing.
I just read this one and I was like, oh.
Paper hearts with messages of love and encouragement.
Never thought that I would be put in this kind of situation and be shown this much love, and support.
Hundreds of hearts now taped to windows and walls of this Merritt restaurant.
I've had staff and guests that have actually had tears because of how visually overwhelming it is. It's really beautiful to walk in and see them all.
They are part of a fundraising effort to help the 6 children of 45-year-old Pamela Jarvis. She died in hospital after being found critically injured in her home December 16th. Pamela's husband, Christopher Jarvis, is accused of second-degree murder. None of the charges against him have been proven in court.
I'm doing okay. I'm doing the very best that I can. It's really hard.
Hard also for her siblings, who range in age from early teens to mid-20s. She says they're also doing their best, but each struggling in their own ways.
It's me and Mom today.
Jillian shared a special bond with her mom.
She was just more than a mom. She was, to me personally, she was my best friend.
When she sees the support from both friends and strangers alike, she says she feels loved.
The only word that I can really describe it is overwhelming. I love looking at how much people not only care for Mom, but care for us and how we're doing.
Early this month, Merritt's Mark Nendick did a grueling 24-hour run in the cold to show support and raise funds for the Jarvis children. There's also been an online fundraiser and now the paper hearts.
People are struggling in how to fix that hurt, right? And that's why they're doing it, is to try and fix the hurt that the children are feeling.
As Pamela Jarvis's children work through their grief, the criminal case against their dad works its way through the court system. He remains in custody and returns to court next month.
Oh.
Meanwhile, the community continues to show the Jarvis children that their mom is not forgotten, and nor are they. Michelle Brunoro, CTV News, Merritt.
More than 4 decades after a young woman was killed in Richmond, police are renewing an appeal for information in the case. Richmond RCMP released a video outlining the killing of 21-year-old Kim Stolberg and the new DNA technology helping their investigation. Stolberg was reportedly on the phone with her sister the night of December 4th, 1985, when she said someone entered her family's office where she was working. She never returned to the phone and was later found stabbed to death inside the building along the 7900 block of River Road. Anyone with information, no matter how small it may seem, is asked to contact the Richmond RCMP. 2 murderers, including a gang hitman, face new charges after officers stopped an attempted jailbreak. It happened last month at the Surrey pretrial center, and as CTV's Dimitra Maragos reports, one of the convicts was involved with a high-profile killing of a rival gangster in a high-end downtown Vancouver hotel.
Two men already facing lengthy sentences are now facing new charges after officials say they tried to escape from Surrey's pretrial center. This all happening on December 7th around 12:30 in the afternoon. Officers spotted an escape attempt by 40-year-old Dean Witchar and 34-year-old Harry Christensen in a secure exercise yard at Surrey pretrial. Both suspects were stopped. Crown has now approved 2 new charges against each of the 2 inmates, including attempting to break out of prison and attempting to escape lawful custody.
The corrections officers obviously did a fantastic job identifying what was going on, and our team did a good job of making sure that they submitted a package to the Crown attorney that they could then approve.
Witchar is already serving a life sentence for first-degree murder for a shooting in Toronto in 2012. Last year, he pleaded guilty to 2 counts of conspiracy to murder rival gangster Sandeep Dure at Sheridan Wall Centre in 2012 and a plot to kill another man, Sukhveer Dak. He was sentenced to 20 years and 18 years concurrently. Witchar also tried to break out from Surrey pretrial in July 2022, just days after his co-accused Robbie Al-Khalil escaped from North Fraser pretrial while in the middle of his high-profile murder trial. Christensen is serving life for second-degree murder and is also charged in a separate assault with a weapon case out of Surrey. SPS adds that both men are in custody and now are awaiting further court appearances. Demetri Marigo, CTV News, Surrey.
And we're looking at a live shot now of Robson Street. It's 6:10 and the roads do look pretty wet, and it was very drizzly this afternoon. It really messes with your hair.
Yes, it sure does. That's why you need your umbrella, and don't put those umbrellas away because we'll definitely need them tomorrow as well. We do have that rainfall warning still in effect for parts of Metro Vancouver. Through tomorrow, we'll see anywhere between 60 to 90 millimeters of rain, so it'll be wet through the overnight hours. Still very warm. 8 degrees is an overnight low. Tomorrow, we're looking at double-digit highs. 10 degrees, 20 to 30 millimeters of rain expected through the day.
CTV Weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises, customizing dream vacations with unbelievable value. Call or learn more at expediacruises.ca.
And the sogginess for the South Coast continues. The full details coming up.
Well, we're used to this, right? We should be accustomed to this weather.
Exactly.
Okay, thanks, Anne. An investigation is underway after a pedestrian was struck and killed by a train in Langley. It happened around 7:45 this morning near the intersection of Glover and Billy Brown Roads. Police say a dog was also killed. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Langley RCMP. Police in Richmond have released video of a pedestrian being struck by a car in the hopes that a key witness comes forward. Video captures the moment of the crash in the intersection of Number 1 Road and Youngmore Road around 6 p.m. on January the 5th. The victim was rushed to hospital with serious injuries and is still in critical condition. Police say that driver has been identified and that speed and alcohol have been ruled out as contributing factors. The video also shows another pedestrian near the scene, and investigators are asking them to reach out. A Vancouver-based mining company says 10 people have been abducted from one of its project sites in Mexico. In a statement, the company Vizsla Silver says the 10 people were taken from a site in the city of Concordia on January 23rd. Local authorities and the military have been called in to help search for the abductees who were reportedly taken by armed men. Vizsla says activities at and around the project site have been temporarily suspended as a precautionary measure. Global Affairs Canada says at this time it's not aware of any Canadian citizens impacted. More classroom space is coming for students in Surrey.
This school is a harmonious, thoughtfully designed space that meets the needs of a growing community while reflecting a deep respect for learning, environment, and connection.
A new French immersion school, École Snoqualmie Elementary, is now open in the Sullivan Heights neighborhood. It has space for 655 students as well as a neighborhood learning center to be used for childcare. Construction has also begun on an addition to Tamanawis Secondary School that will provide 575 additional seats. There was a show of support for public education in Coquitlam today as negotiations resume between the province and the BC Teachers Federation. The union says its biggest focus has been on teacher workload and improved learning conditions for students.
Teachers' teaching conditions are indeed students' learning conditions. If we're struggling with additional workload, if we're struggling with new expectations coming from the government all the time, then our students are also struggling with those same conditions.
Negotiations had reached an impasse 2 weeks ago, but the BCTF says they voted to return to the table after a commitment from the province to address key priorities. Bruce Springsteen releases a song condemning the actions of ICE agents in Minneapolis. Also ahead.
I think we need to draw the line at people seeking the assistance of foreign countries to break up this beautiful land of ours.
Why Premier David Eby is accusing Alberta separatists meeting with U.S. officials of treason. What Alberta Premier Danielle Smith thinks of that description. When CTV News continues, stay with us.
We'll remember the names of those who died on the streets of Minneapolis.
Bruce Springsteen is taking aim at the Trump administration with the new anti-ICE protest song called Streets of Minneapolis. On social media, the boss says he wrote the song on Saturday, the same day Alex Preddy was killed. He dedicated the song to the memory of Preddy and another ICE shooting victim, Renee Good. The title is a callback to his 1994 hit, Streets of Philadelphia, which was about the AIDS epidemic. Premier David Eby had strong words today for Alberta's separatist movement. He called the reported meetings between members of the group and White House officials an act of treason. And as CTV's Tyler Barrow reports, the separatists are not taking kindly to the accusation.
Jeffrey Rath spent this week shaking hands with fellow Alberta separatists at a Calgary rally, but he's also been busy traveling to the U.S. Capitol to court support and money from the Trump administration.
Whether that facility would be available on a going forward basis, and whether it's with U.S. Treasury or Goldman Sachs or J.P. Morgan through a bond issue or whatever, we're looking at all of the options.
The lawyer for State Free Alberta says he's had several discussions last year with U.S. State Department officials that include doing a feasibility study on whether to ask for a $500 billion credit facility from them in the event of a successful independence referendum. BC Premier David Eby had harsh words for the idea.
To go to a foreign country and to ask for assistance in breaking up Canada, there's an old-fashioned word for that, and that word is treason.
At the First Minister's Conference in Ottawa, Alberta Premier Danielle Smith says the decision for a group to meet with U.S. officials is a reflection of their discontent with Ottawa.
I'm not going to demonize or marginalize a million of my fellow citizens when they've got legitimate grievances.
Prime Minister Mark Carney says he's never discussed Alberta independence with U.S. President Donald Trump.
We expect the U.S. administration to respect Canadian sovereignty.
The U.S. State Department said it regularly meets with civil society types and no commitments were made. A similar response from the White House, which tells CTV News no support or commitments were conveyed. Meanwhile, First Nations leaders gathered in Edmonton Thursday to stand against Alberta separatism or becoming the 51st state.
Stop disrespecting treaty rights, stop undermining the Constitution, and don't let ambitions of a few put the rights and stability of many at risk.
While these First Nations leaders are worried about foreign interference, Calgarians say treason allegations aren't warranted.
I think it's unfair what he said. It's not quite treason.
I'm not sure a single meeting is enough to call something treason.
I don't think he has a right to make any kind of comments regarding Alberta's people choices.
Jeffrey Rath has another word for it.
It's ludicrous, right? I mean, we're there on a fact-finding basis. If there's nothing treasonous about it.
Tyler Barrow, CTV News, Calgary.
Pipelines were on the agenda at the First Minister's meeting in Ottawa today as Alberta's Premier looks for a new route to get oil from her province to Asian markets. Danielle Smith says she's no longer considering Kitimat, BC, for a proposed oil pipeline to the West Coast, reasoning the port is too complex to navigate. She says some alternatives are already emerging. Smith also suggested the existing Trans Mountain pipeline could be further utilized without saying whether she wants to expand or triple the route.
Premier Eby has spoken about expanding the Trans Mountain pipeline. I think that if we could move at pace on that, I think that would be one of the pressure release valves. But for sure, there is an open and robust market waiting for more Canadian energy.
David Eby has spoken out against a new pipeline, but Alberta is moving ahead by funding the early planning of a proposed bitumen pipeline to BC's northwest coast after Alberta and Ottawa signed an historic memorandum of understanding on the issue last November. Smith saying today she's hoping to take a proposal to Ottawa's major projects office by June. Conservatives from across the country gathered in Calgary today as the party's national convention got underway. Topping the agenda, a mandatory leadership review for Pierre Poilievre.
It's our membership who will cast the votes and they will decide, and it's up to Pierre Poilievre to take the results and do as he sees fit.
Results of that vote will come tomorrow evening, and it is widely expected Poilievre will get significant support. The Conservative Party continues to do well in the polls, but the Conservative leader trails far behind Prime Minister Mark Carney when it comes to personal popularity. Taiwan launches military exercises ahead of Lunar New Year, simulating a response to a Chinese attack. Also ahead.
It's difficult trying to make ends meet.
Rising grocery prices are hitting Canadians hard. How they are impacting spending habits. That's ahead on CTV News. Taiwan is conducting large-scale military drills to test the island's readiness against any aggression. Today, an anti-landing operation simulated a hostile amphibious invasion. The exercise featured the use of drones, shore-based weapons, and anti-ship missiles. The drills highlight Taiwan's growing focus on defense and preparedness amid rising tension with China. Paying for groceries is still the #1 expense draining the pocketbooks of Canadians in 2026. New Nanos polling out today highlights just how much affordability is taking a toll. CTV's Alex Karpa has the stats and the effect it's also having on spending habits.
Hard to make decisions.
A trip to the grocery store is not an easy one for Ben Nye.
It's really expensive here.
Soaring prices at checkout are forcing him to carefully consider what meals he can afford to make.
That's not bad. $4.99.
Being currently unemployed and searching for work has made it a struggle to pay the bills.
As a consumer, we're being hit hard, and it's being difficult for us to actually be able to afford anything anymore.
Nye has even resorted to selling many of his things just to cover costs.
It's difficult trying to make ends meet.
Like Ben, many are feeling the impacts of rising grocery prices. A new survey finds that the biggest concerns around costs for Canadians is right here at the grocery store.
A new Nanos research poll for CTV News finds grocery prices worry Canadians more than housing costs as inflation continues to rise. More than half of Canadians say groceries are top of mind when looking to save money this year, followed by housing at almost 25% and healthcare at nearly 10%.
It speaks to the pressure that Canadians are under and how groceries are at the top of the list, significantly ahead of things like housing and healthcare and fuel and entertainment, all those things.
But experts warn that relief may not come anytime soon.
The story on tariffs are going to continue as we're trying to renew CUMSO with a very unfortunate negotiating opponent in the United States. Could be looking at, a bad year next year as well.
Let's try this.
As prices continue to climb with no end in sight, Nye says he will do whatever it takes just to stay afloat. Alex Karpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Food banks across the country are seeing more people coming through their doors. That includes here in BC as advocates call for action.
Record-breaking demand for services, a 10% increase on the number of people who are coming to food banks compared to the previous year. If we look back at about 5 years to around the start of the pandemic, we've seen an increase of 80% in the number of visits. And there's no indication that this is going to start to come down anytime soon.
He says in some cases there are too many people coming to food banks looking for help and simply not enough resources. According to Food Banks Canada, 1 in 4 Canadians are currently experiencing food insecurity. Vancouver Mayor Ken Sim wants to designate free viewing spaces during World Cup. We'll have the details of his motion. And
when that dog puts on that jacket, she knows it's time to go to work.
Meet the newest member of the Calgary Police Force. Sadie's job isn't chasing down criminals, though. We'll explain ahead. As the first month of the year comes to a close and February gets underway, there's a wide variety of events and activities on offer. We've got a full list of fun things to check out on our website, ctvnewsvancouver.ca. Police in Calgary are adding a new kind of backup, one with 4 paws and a calming presence. As officers face increasingly traumatic calls, a specially trained dog is stepping in to support sworn and civilian members. Mark Villani reports.
Responding to the most dangerous calls. Police officers physically put their lives on the line. They're often first on scene of a fatal car crash, a homicide, and other life or death situations.
There's lots of traumatic incidents that they're going through. We're dealing with lots of mental health. You've heard us talk about, 19% of our workforce is off.
But this 4-legged friend aims to help solve those issues. Meet Sadie, a 2-year-old black lab named as the Calgary Police Service's first operational stress intervention dog. She's vested up and specially trained to support sworn CPS officers and civilian members following difficult calls.
Interactions with these dogs can reduce stress responses, lower anxiety levels, and help individuals regulate emotional distress.
Sadie was bred and trained by BC and Alberta guide dogs, a strenuous 1.5-year process to offer calming support in moments when words alone aren't enough.
So when somebody is having a bad day, needs an emotional downregulation or additional support, our dogs are specifically trained for those members.
Bringing this canine into action was also made possible thanks to funding from Wounded Warriors Canada and Calgary-based nonprofit Pulling Together for Mental Health.
When you begin to experience stress, your entire body chemistry changes. That dog knows you're undergoing stress before you do.
The latest step in making sure those who swore to protect Calgarians feel supported too.
Whatever we can do to assist and support them, this is what we're here for.
Mark Villani, CTV News, Calgary.
A bighorn sheep may owe her life to some first responders after being saved from an icy jam. The animal found itself stuck after it fell through an iced-over river, finding itself unable to get out. Wildlife officers were able to help pull the sheep out before warming her up. After a night of observation, the bighorn was released back into the wild to return home to the mountains. Aww. Wow, did you see how quickly it ran back into the wild? I think it recovered very quickly.
Yes, and very happy to be back at home rather than in icy lake.
Yeah, that must have been pretty scary.
All right, let's take a look at our forecast. The wet weather continues, all because of this low-pressure system, as you can see, bringing in a lot of moisture for us on the south coast. Rainfall warnings in effect. West Vancouver Island through tomorrow, you'll see anywhere between 100 and 140 millimeters of rain. East Vancouver Island, you'll see about 50 to 70. And for us across Metro Vancouver, we'll see 60 to 90 millimeters of rain before everything is said and done through the day tomorrow. So here's a look at our weather tracker right now. We are seeing a rain across the board, heavy at times through the overnight hours into tomorrow morning for your early morning commute. Another round moves its way in, heavy at times through the afternoon, and then it slowly tapers off, dries up as we head into tomorrow night. You will see mostly cloudy skies for the central interior, and for the central coast, you'll see periods of rain. Your provincial forecast at the bottom of your screen. Showers and warm temperatures for Port Hardy tomorrow. You'll see double-digit highs at 10 degrees. It'll be soggy once again for Campbell River and Comox with highs to 9 for the South Island. Upwards of 50 millimeters of rain throughout the day tomorrow for Tofino, 11 degrees. Periods of rain for Port Alberni at 11. And then the showers from Nanaimo right down to Victoria. You're looking at temperatures between 9 and 10 degrees. Soggy once again for the Sunshine Coast with a high of 10. Same story up the Sea to Sky Highway, though a touch cooler. You'll see 6 degrees for Whistler and Squamish. And for us across the lower mainland, we're looking at temperatures between 8 and 10 degrees with periods of rain. And as we head into Saturday, we'll start off with some showers. 11 degrees as a high. Overcast skies through the afternoon. Enjoy the break in between systems because the rain returns on Sunday. Steady rain on Monday. Tuesday, we will see cloudy skies. And then on Wednesday, a little bit of a break. We'll see a slight chance of early morning showers. 11 degrees with some sunny breaks. Clearing up on Thursday with a high of 11 as well. CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. So very mild as we head into the next week. And yes, as we say hello to February.
Yeah, already. I know we were well below the January average for rain, but I think we're gonna
make up for it.
We're gonna get close to it, right? All right, thanks, Anne. A BC man has received top honors by Canadian Geographic for his keen eye behind the lens. Anthony Bucci of Port McNeill has been named Canadian Geographic Photographer of the Year. Originally from Langley, he is a longtime contributor to the magazine's Photo Club. Other BC winners include Eli Wolpin from Vancouver in the Flora, Fauna and Fungi category for this photo of shrimp in Howe Sound, and Ash Voikin from Rossland won in the Epic Landscapes category for this shot of the Purcell Mountains at sunset. An Ontario family's van has reached more than 1 million kilometers. How they managed to make it last that long? Also ahead, Tesla shifting gears, why it's ramping up investment in autonomous vehicles and its Optimus robots. That's ahead.
Time now for tonight's Skywatch. A fisher hopefully reeling in a catch at Deer Lake with the towers of Metrotown in the distance under overcast skies.
CTV Skywatch is brought to you by Kermac Collision and Autoglass, the name you'll remember when it matters. Kermac cares for kids.
Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar continues its rise today, just under 74 cents to the American dollar, trading at 73.99. Oil up $2.21, ending the day at 65.42. Gold gained more than $14 on the day. The TSX ended the day lower, down 159 points, while the Dow Jones was up 55 points. While some of its fellow tech giants surged on the stock market today, the same could not be said for Microsoft. Share values tumbled by around 10% as of the close. That's despite stronger profit and revenue in the latest quarter than analysts expected. Investors instead focused on concerns Microsoft won't deliver enough returns to make up for record spending on artificial intelligence. Elon Musk says Tesla is ending production of Model X and Model S vehicles and shifting its focus to humanoid robots. Tesla is looking to double its capital spending this year to a record high of $20 billion after losing its lead in global electric vehicle sales to China's BYD. Most of its investment will be spent on the production of its Cybercab, a fully autonomous vehicle without a steering wheel and pedals, the long-promised Tesla semi-truck, and its Optimus robots. Musk says Tesla is not pursuing the spending projects for fun, but rather out of desperation. Buying a new vehicle these days is expensive, which is why you want to make yours last as long as you can. A CTV viewer just set an impressive milestone with his van, which just topped more than 1 million kilometers. CTV's Pat Foran finds out how he did it.
Marco Intihar of Claremont owns a 2000 Toyota Sienna van. It's been in the family since new and is affectionately known as Betsy. He recently videoed the odometer as it clicked over to 999,999 kilometers, which is the most it can record.
99999 has been achieved. Woo! Let's hear it for Betsy.
For Intihar, it was a family goal to hit the million mark.
It's unreal. It really is. I think when you do some research, how many vehicles have actually gotten to 1 million kilometers, that aren't big semis or whatever, it's just astounding. Starts up every time first day.
We first met Intihar 4 years ago when his van had just clicked over to 930,000 kilometers.
Bam! Love it. Transmission level looks good.
He says his father believed in following the maintenance schedule closely, especially oil changes.
You just got to give her the love. Don't go past your oil changes.
Another reason we did the story, it's still on its first drivetrain.
It has the original engine and transmission.
Intihar says his parents put on most of the 1 million kilometers driving to polka festivals all over North America.
They would take lots of trips down south, Florida, wherever there was a polka festival, they would go.
To get this kind of mileage, Consumer Reports says start with a reliable vehicle and keep it well maintained.
Routine maintenance is definitely key to longevity. It costs some time in the shop and money for those maintenance items, but it's generally money and time well spent.
Your best bet, follow your owner's manual.
All the fluid changes matter, all the filter changes matter, and it does add up, but it is cheaper than repairs down the line.
As for Intihar, he says his father would be proud to know Betsy made it to 1 million kilometers.
It was just my dad's dream to get to 1 million, and it's done. So I think we're going to gracefully put her out to pasture. Toyota should be proud. That's a pretty impressive thing to have accomplished.
Move over AirPods. It sounds like wired headphones are making a comeback. The revival is on full display on the cover of New York Magazine's latest issue, which features celebrities sharing wired earbuds on the subway. Fashion experts say wires are at once a stylish accessory, a symbol of digital fatigue, and a sort of do not disturb sign. A lower price point and nostalgia are also selling points, but wires still come with the downside of getting tangled up in your bag. He says he's a lover of all things sandwich. Apparently, that's why Adam Samberg channels Neil Diamond in a new Super Bowl ad and nails it. Plus, family lifting. Adam finds out how a father and son, both weightlifters, are inspiring each other on the world stage. Next on the Sawatsky Sign Off. Right now, here's Carrie with a preview of Your Morning Vancouver.
If you've ever wanted to be an organ donor, turns out you're not alone. Friday on Your Morning Vancouver, we'll learn about the record year BC has seen when it comes to life-saving donations and meet some of those who are here because of it. Plus, as more countries consider a social media ban for young people, what should we consider in this country if we decide to do the same? We'll see you in the morning.
Now Besser trying to get behind the defense. Brock Besser turns looking for help. Garland takes the pass. Nice move. Another one and he scores. Connor Garland.
The Canucks are back in action tonight, hosting the Anaheim Ducks, their second to last home game before the Olympic break. Vancouver actually won the first meeting back in November, but have just one win in their last 15 games. The puck drops just after 7. We're just a few months away now. The World Cup, and Vancouver's mayor wants to designate free viewing spaces for the public to watch the matches. Ken Sim is tabling a motion next week for BC Place to be open on non-match days for people to watch the games from other host cities. This is in addition to live screenings already scheduled at the PNE Amphitheatre. Sim says it's to ensure the World Cup experience in Vancouver is accessible, especially to those who may not be able to attend ticketed matches. Council will vote on his motion next Wednesday. 1 week tomorrow, the eyes of the world will turn to Italy for the opening ceremony of the Milano Cortina Olympics, and preparations are ramping up for what is expected to be a spectacular show. Thousands of performers and volunteers from 27 countries have spent months getting ready in this tent next to Milan's San Siro Stadium. Rehearsals are now shifting to inside the massive soccer arena. The show will celebrate Italian history and culture. The excitement over the hit show Heated Rivalry does not seem to be fading. Now calls from fans to release the fleece have been answered.
All right, so tonight we can do the men's short form figure skating? Or? My buddy Joe's in that program. We'll train together. What do you guys be cool
BC's Hudson Williams wore this jacket in the show when his character was playing for Team Canada in the Olympics. Since then, fans of the show have been demanding one for themselves, some even making their own version. The show's production company is teaming up Toronto-based Province of Canada to produce and sell the jacket.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, I've made it. Oh, finally.
And Hudson Williams made a very special delivery to Prime Minister Mark Carney today at a gala to promote the Canadian film industry. Carney shared this video on social media saying, "Thanks for the fleece, Hudson. I heard they are hard to come by." Netflix's smash hit musical K-pop Demon Hunters dominated the streaming platforms in 2025, logging more minutes than any other movie last year. The animated film logged more than 20 billion minutes in the U.S. alone, which equals to the movie being watched around 207 million times. That's more than the next two films, Moana 2 and Happy Gilmore 2, combined. The film is also up for some hardware at the Oscars. It's nominated for Best Animated Feature and Best Original Song. You have to admit, that is such a catchy song.
I've yet to watch it.
But the song is catchy. You've heard the song.
Yep.
How many parents just had it on repeat, though, to get those numbers?
But the song is hard to sing. Would you ever try singing that?
No, never try to sing any song.
We tried singing it at a party recently. It was very difficult.
Yeah, no, too high.
Very high. It goes up, up, up. Okay, well, you both know Neil Diamond's Sweet Caroline pretty well, I'm sure. But how about Meal Diamond's Sweet Sandwich Time?
Sweet sandwich time. Hellman's makes it taste so good.
Lonely Island Days in this musical parody about mayonnaise. It's Hellman's latest Super Bowl ad, which you can now watch online before game day.
Hilarious.
It's very funny. It doesn't even look like Andy Samberg, does
I like
it?
Brooklyn Nine-Nine Samberg.
Oh, yeah, no, very good ad. Okay, Lauren's here. What's coming up tonight on the Late News, Lauren?
Well, Mijung, if you're planning on heading out camping this summer, if you can even think of that with all the rain, it could cost you more. We'll let you know where BC Parks is raising its fees. And we'll have more on our top story tonight, the growing extortion crisis. Our Isabella Zavarisi is at that community meeting in Surrey. She's speaking with several business owners who have a lot of concerns and frustrations, and some even telling her they're going to great lengths to try and ensure that they aren't targeted.
Okay, thanks a lot, Lauren. Well, young boys often dream of growing up to be pro athletes or first responders. Well, one heavy lifting police officer in Tofino managed to achieve both, but it didn't come without adversity. Adam explains in tonight's Encore Sawatsky sign-off.
Despite his big body, Corporal Greg Young rarely has to employ it to keep his small community safe.
I think I'm a pretty soft-spoken, gentle person, so I think that, helps me along.
Long before he strived to become an RCMP officer, Greg dreamed of being a strongman like his dad, Terry.
Coming to the weight room and playing around.
Kind of grew up chasing his footsteps.
Footsteps that led Terry to win gold at the World Master Championships.
Pretty happy moment for our family when he won that.
The pictures now provide motivation for Greg to train up to 4 hours a day in his home gym.
It's consistently challenging, but pretty rewarding.
And if the most rewarding thing is beginning to realize your dream of being a power lifter like your dad,
yeah, he was pretty good at it.
The most devastating thing is having it crushed by a broken back.
Definitely painful and frustrating.
Although a spinal fusion fixed his injury, it left Greg unable to lift like before.
You can choose to lay down and die or just move in a different direction.
So Greg started focusing on his bench press instead and realizing what he calls the gift of injury.
I think that I would have been a pretty good powerlifter, but I think I became a pretty great bench presser.
He was lifting these enormous weights I could never dream of.
When Greg realized the weight he was lifting in his home gym, up to 580 pounds, was better than what was being benched at the Worlds, he took a chance and invited his dad to try competing again too.
He originally inspired me, and I think this time around I inspired him to.
The coach is becoming the coached.
Over the past few World Championships, the father and son have motivated each other to both earn a place on the podium, winning bronze, silver, and gold medals.
You get a lot of joy to watch them and be there with them.
And Greg is finding that even better than achieving the dream of following in your dad's footsteps is overcoming adversity and walking right beside him.
It's pretty cool. It's a pretty remarkable feeling.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News.
The Sawatsky Sign-Off, brought to you by
CapitalDirect.ca. Let's make your vision a reality with Capital Direct. Call and talk to our team today.
Very strong man. If you put all three of us together, he could bench press all three of us, right?
Easily. Times three of us together, for sure. All right, let's take a look at our Scenic snapshot. Speaking of threes, triple sundogs above the slopes in Fernie. A beautiful shot. Thanks, Sue, for sending this one in. And we want to see your Scenic snapshot as well. So email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca. Way better conditions there than our local mountains.
Let's go to Fernie. Okay, thank you for joining us. Lauren's back tonight at 11:30.
Good night.